Okay, guys, here we are back in episode 3 of the Scottish campaign, or at least as our campaign is Count of Carrick. Now, it's been about 6 years going on in this campaign, and we still don't have kids. So we're going to do a couple things to attempt to alleviate that problem. First off, I'm going to uh, tell my wife not to scheme anymore, and I'm going to send her a gift in hopes that maybe that will make things a little bit better. I'm also going to not go to war for a few turns in order to declare, hopefully get uh, that stuff going. Now, last time we left off, remember we had conquered Galloway, we conquered Argyle, and we were getting very close to potentially making a move against our liege, the King Gudrod of Soriar here in the Hebrides. But in order to make that a little bit more certain, there's still one more piece of territory that we can take off of his hands before we turn against him directly, and that would be the Isle of Man down here. So I'm going to send my Chancellor back down to the Isle of Man, and we're going to try to claim it. Although even if we do get a claim right at the moment, we're going to hold on to that. We're not going to do all of our dirty work here at once, because again, we need to make sure that we actually have some descendants so this game goes further than 1072 here. So we left off, I think we had a summer fair, but we can start looking at, we can start to look at some of the things that we're going to do now further on, because right now our strategy has purely been to sort of work our way through the little possessions here in the Isles with a mode toward going against King Gudrod. The problem is that after we go against King Gudrod, we're going to need to make some decisions, because we have a count. Our domain size up here on the right is 5. So assuming we take Man and the Isles, that's going to give us our full domain limit. So we're going to have to start handing over territory to other people at that point, which means that we need a title higher than Count so we can keep them all under our umbrella. In fact, we're going to have to be careful, because there's potentially 2 or 3 Duke titles that we could run into. For some reason, we were never given the option to be the Duke of Galloway, which, even though we control 2/3 of what you need to be to get Galloway, so either somebody else owns that title, possibly the Duke of Lothian over here, or maybe the King of Scotland, or else, because Clydesdale is actually in Scotland and we're technically not, we can't physically create that kingdom, or sorry, that duchy right now. The Isle of Man has its own associated duchy, and that would be sort of our fallback position. More than likely, the title we're initially going to take is hopefully this one, the kingdom, the petty kingdom of Soriar, as it's described here. But since we're into November, let's go ahead and try to hold a feast. Once again, we're not going to be declaring war for a while. Feasts can be a little bit expensive, and it's best not to do them if you don't have the money for them. I probably would have waited till I had about 100 gold in the pot to do it, but I just wanted to show this off at this point. So we're going to go pretty much bankrupt here, trying to set up this feast. Yeah, so we're all the way down to 4. And we only have a limited number of vassals at the moment because we don't have any um, counts or anything underneath us. We're still a count ourselves, but we do have all the little mayors and bishops running around these places, and none of them has apparently have turned us down, so that's good. All right, and so when you go to a feast, you can get these sort of special events that can help raise your prestige or raise your relationship with the people who are at the feast. It can also hurt your relationship with the people at the feast. So here, Bishop Mungo appreciates the singing, so that's good. That gives us a little more prestige. All right, we just passed the new year into 1073. Our feast is still going on. All right, we just became best friends with Bishop Mungo. And we got really upset at Bishop Ian. One of the interesting things you'll find at these feasts is that usually it's the bishops who do either become your friends or get drunk. And you sort of have to remember that this is a different time. In fact, you know, occasionally it wouldn't be surprising for our bishops to be our military leaders, depending on how good they are. But okay, the war continues. You can see that Gwenod has now occupied Teviotdale. I think I don't know if he's still in Cumberland or not. And I'm thinking the forces of the King of Scotland must have been defeated because it looks like they're running away to the north. So, that's something to consider. All right, so while we're doing this, we can go check in on our court. We have our wife, who's our spy master. We married a bunch of these people off. And so okay, Marcus doesn't have a wife. Marcus is also not going to get a wife. The unfortunate thing about being lowborn is that you can't, you have to marry into someone else's family. And since I don't want to send Marcus away, I might need him for something. He's also currently my marshal, even though he's not. Wouldn't say he's the best guy to put into that job, but again, we don't have a lot of money, and one of the few other ways to get military people is to go into the intrigue menu, and I could spend some prestige and some money to get a better commander. I'm not sure I really want to do that right at the moment. Instead, let's go ahead and spend all of our money on a summer fair. Aha, there we go. It took a little while, but now Inga's pregnant. We don't know if she's pregnant with a boy or a girl, and you can sort of manipulate it. Not in the not in the sense that there's something you could do that force the gender of the child, but manipulate it in the sense that you could manipulate like whether or not a Pokemon is shiny, in that we could save right before the kid's born and then reload, and it might load a different gender on the child. All right, we're gonna choose to gain 5 piety here, and it's just an issue because I want to be in good terms with my vassals, particularly in this early stage. later on in the game, some of these smaller guys or smaller vassals would be less important, and these bishops will be less important to keep happy because we'll have to deal with keeping dukes happy or other counts happy. Okay. And that having been said, all right, our summer fair is over. Fortunately, we got a nice little tax bonus while it was going on, completely unrelated, but it did make the make the sense of paying for the summer fair go a little bit better. Okay, we have another Scottish army marching, probably to join this Scottish army. I wonder what exactly is going on here. Okay, defending against, oh gosh, the Welsh guy's got 32% war score in favor here. Oh, I'm thinking that the King of Scotland was excommunicated. Huh. Okay. Okay, what options does that give us? No, the only thing we could do is we don't have any claims here, so the only thing we can't, it doesn't really do us any good to get involved in this war at this moment. It'd be different if we'd claimed Clydesdale or something of that nature, but I wasn't thinking in that particular vein. You know, yeah, I can see that Dunbar's being occupied by King Harold. So there's some sort of partnership between the Welsh and the English here as they march through southern Scotland. Okay, let's double check and see how. Okay, Galloway is almost full up on its levy, so that gives us 2,000 men, 1,700 men. I'm going to try to take advantage of this war that Scotland has gotten itself into to try to claim Clydesdale instead of Man. Even if it doesn't work out, even if the war that Scotland is in ends before we can jump in and be part of it, we can hold on to that claim in the future, as we're now into 1074. Okay, the good news is we have an heir now. The bad news is she's a girl. No offense to you girls, because this this character, who we are not going to name Dervorgilla, simply because I won't be able to keep track of that name. Instead, we will name her what I think is probably the sort of Judeo-Christian equivalent. We'll call her Deborah. So we have an heir now. That's the good news. The bad news is it's not male, so it means people can, try to make claims against us and things like that. Okay, so we need to go back to the political map here. We're going to leave our wife idle still, just so that, and we're going to, again, we're going to try to stay out of the war picture. We're going to send our marshal to Argyll, because I assume that's where, if we need to recruit more men, that's where we would have to recruit more men. Oh, okay, interesting. We could not declare war on Count Fingal, because he's now the ruler of, or he's now the count in charge of Man until 1078 anyway. So going for a claim there wasn't necessarily our best move. All right, one thing we could do, potentially we could go after these Irish territories. Ireland's fairly divided, and that could help give us just a little bit of extra strength before we actually make a full-on attack on Scotland. Because yeah, that I'm pretty sure that that number's wrong. That he's got even even at war, he's got access to more men than that. Okay. Now this is getting a little bit concerning just because they're starting to get closer to land that we'd be interested in. So yeah. Okay, after this summer fair, I might invest in another commander just to just so I can get a no, yeah, that's not good. That is not good. They're okay. What other? Okay, I don't have 500 piety for an invasion. The only thing I can declare war on him for is his excommunication. Now, yeah, that's oh, and of course I had the Chancellor doing the wrong mission. Had him doing the friendship mission, not the press claims mission. Okay, so I still want to try to grab something during this English-Welsh kind of invasion thing. That gotta take advantage of that. So my preference would still be Clydesdale because it borders all of our territories. Keeps everything nice and connected. Doesn't look like they're going to give me that particular opportunity. So if we look at our court, there's our daughter Deborah down here at the bottom. She is currently 0 years old. But you'll note she already has a plus 14, although she, even as a baby, recognizes that we are weak and frail. Okay, so we need to gain more prestige. Because it occurs to me that if they're doing a, actually I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing? Yeah, this is all about the excommunication war. So as far as I'm aware, no territory is going to change hands when that's done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and whoop. All right, we got some more kids at court, which is good. We need to kind of grow our court. Okay, so I've invested in a commander here. This is looking toward the future. Because I really need somebody other than people who are doing jobs for me to be in these positions. And you'll notice Lulak turned out to be pretty good. He's an 18. Okay. Make my wife High Almoner and make Ross Master of the Horse just to sort of take some of the sting out of not being commander anymore, even though all right, and then we will feast. Now, let's go back, and I should have a new guy in my court hanging out somewhere. Okay, I don't see him here, so let's go ahead and we're starting to run into people who don't like us. All right, so we need to get this guy married off, and not to our 0-year-old daughter. And there's not a lot of options. Okay. Hold on. She's 10 at least. Age is not normally how it... Ooh. Going the wrong way. Okay, well, 10-year-old it is. I hope this guy lives to be 46 or something like that. Okay, so we're still sort of in holding pattern here until she gets pregnant again. Okay, we went there after a content trait, and we did not get it. Or sorry, an ambitious trait, and we did not get it, but let's not worry about that right now. Just some other things that you can see up in these menus. There's the realm tree. Again, shows you who our boss is and who his vassals are. Of course, we've now dominated 60% of his territory, so we're kind of his only vassal of significance. That was the realm tree. We got the family tree. Of course, it's not very big because we don't have any ancestors because we traded somebody. Okay, I'm gonna go Summer Fair again. At this point, Argyle is almost completely up on its troops, at least the ones we can draw from. So we should have about 3,000 men to use if we wanted to go to war with somebody. The only issue is who exactly that would be. Okay, now the longer this war goes on, the closer it gets to 100% against Scotland, um, the more likely it is we need to pull out of trying to get involved in it, because it'll probably end before we get that opportunity. But you can see how much progress the English and the Welsh have made coming into Scotland. They basically occupied most of Lothian, if not all of Lothian at this point, and they're making their way very slowly toward Gowrie, where Rule is. You can see most of Brittany is actually under the control of one person, but there's still one holdout county. Looks like a lot of things have been going on down here. Looks like Castile has either inherited or taken over Leon. The Fatimid Caliphate continues to control large amounts of land. Most of the African stuff south of it is still largely divided. Historically, the most important power here would be the Ethiopians, so Abyssinia, based at Gondar. We'll see we'll see if they actually manage to pull stuff together or not. So yeah, that's that's the world right at the moment. All right, we're gonna throw another feast. Anything to sort of build up the prestige meter. Oh, that's not good. One of the nice things about the game is it sort of follows along what you can afford. A castle repair later in the game might have been somewhere around like 90 gold or more, which, of course, at this point would have completely drained our resources. Fortunately, it was only a 16 gold repair. Of course, it could be one just wasn't that sophisticated of a castle. Okay, the bishops are backing out. The guy who got drunk once, but also another of our three bishops decided he's not going to cooperate. All right, King Harold's army is now up in Strathearn. And he's not far. Up, made friends with Bishop Malise, whoever he is. He is that far. Yeah, the war score has gotten up to 62. Okay, I'm starting to think that nothing exciting is going to happen this episode. Basically, we had a daughter. That's been the highlight so far. We'll speed up the clock a little bit here. Okay, got a Welsh army on the move, English army on the move, Scottish armies, I think, on the... Wait, no. I don't know what kind of armies those are. Oh, this is interesting. Whatever they are, they're heading south. Are these mercenaries? It doesn't really make much sense for them to be something else. Okay, well, might as well keep something going on here. She still has a 26 opinion of me, so that's not bad. At this point, the truce against the Isle of Man is going to run out before we do anything. Getting a lot of peasants to stay. Now, ticked off another bishop. Okay. Okay, well this happens every now and then. All right, remember this is the lady. I think this is the lady with the high spy score. No, this is a different lady. All right. I'm not playing this in the let's have affairs all over the neighborhood kind of thing. I still have to I still have a dynasty to protect. And I'm not going to start going toward legitimated bastards at this point. Okay. Now England has taken Strathern. But we missed out on the oh. Okay, well the other guy's having a feast. So we're gonna go to his feast. Now, I haven't since I haven't really played as a vassal before, I've never been to someone else's feast. I'm sure there's going to be a few things that sort of like pop up. but right now I just gained a little bit of prestige. Okay, I'm giving up on this Clydesdale experiment. Okay, this seems rather silly because I'm about to tick off my my steward. %72%. You know what? I'll let the thing keep going until the treaty. Aha! He wasn't impotent after all. Granted, his wife did try to seduce me at a summer feast, or not seduce me at a feast. No, she just had the option of maybe fancying me. So she just wanted a kid. That's all that was about. So Hugh wasn't impotent after all. Good old Hugh. Sitting there collecting taxes in County Carrick, year after year, waiting for something exciting to happen. That claim could come through any day. Okay, we're going to slow this down so I don't miss my opportunity to grab a feast here in November. Like any day now. I would contemplate. Whoa, what's going on over here? Okay, so mercenaries have attacked Gwynedd, I guess. Really haven't contemplated whether or not it would be worthwhile for us to join in the war. Okay, that doesn't really affect us. The only thing, I'm not really sure that independence gains me anything right at the moment. Oh, whoops. About to run out of time on that feast. That was the whole point of slowing down the clock. Huh. Okay, who are you? Are you anybody? I don't think this guy is anybody. All right, well, everyone's ditching our feast again. It's come to my attention that the Chancellor of Moray, Lulak, has bribed and threatened his way through my domain, trying to get enough people to recognize a claim on my title that he has fabricated for his liege, Prince Malsen. Oh, wait a minute. Did King of Scotland die? No, he's still there. Oh, we just exiled Magnus here. I don't know what he did. Okay, this is, yeah. Okay, we're out of time. Harold's about to finish his war against the Scots. So we're going to go back to the Isle of Man and back to our original plan, which I guess got put on hold for a few years, but that allowed us to refill our military stocks here. There's also the possibility that somebody, not you, but this guy, might make a move, I'm guessing against Argyle. And so we might potentially have to defend against that. We do have to be a little concerned about that because since he already has that claim, that means if we go to war against somebody else, he could jump in. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. The King of Scotland just showed up at my court. Okay, so we have a new King of Scotland. How bizarre. I guess I was his original, hereditary county. I'm not really sure. Okay, we need to keep her in good spirits. Okay, so yeah, there he is, Malcolm Dunkeld, Prince of Scotland. Hell is seriously? You named your kid Bride? Jeez. Queen Mother Ingeborg, Scotland, but he's got claims to press all over the place. Assuming that we could make him a vassal. We can't really do anything with him at the moment. He's sort of militarily minded. I mean, he'd be a better marshal than our current marshal. But this is unexpected because this gives us some options here. Assuming we can keep him alive. How old's his wife? I'm sorry. Okay, she's 51. Yeah. You can tell he's lived kind of a hard life here. Oh, he's lustful. That could be another problem. Okay, well, we're going to appoint him as our marshal. Institute medium crown authority. Jeez. This would be bad if I was actually in Scotland, but it will screw with the other vassals. So And we're going to welcome the king to our lands by throwing a summer fair. And then we're going to immediately get the bishop not to like us again. Okay, we're running to the end of our truce with the Isle of Man. All right, our truce is over, but I don't think we have any, like, yeah, we don't currently have any reasons to go to war with him. We could go to war here. But that would drag the Isle of Man into it. I'd rather not have them both fighting at the same time. All right, and with that in mind, we're going to run to the end of the year here, and we're going to grab a feast. Well, now we're going to try to grab a feast. We're going to run to the end of the year here, and then we're going to call it quits. And hopefully, next time we'll have something a little bit more exciting going on. We had a daughter. There was a excommunication war that kind of went on around us. And we had a king who showed up just in our court, courtesy of the fact that he was the excommunicate guy from the first time. So, you know, that's all fun. So we'll let the year end out. We'll finish the, actually, we'll finish the feast. We will finish the feast. Okay, Pope has died. We got new Pope. And that's where we'll cut it off. So I'll see you guys next time.